Well, cheers everybody, welcome to another Dinner and Drinks. My name is Wingnut. I'm so very happy that you guys are watching us here because tonight is a full-blown Meat-asaurus episode. We are going to make a porterhouse, but with brown butter. We're also going to serve it with asparagus, and then I'm going to try and recreate something I've seen at Universal Studios and Universal Orlando Resorts. You know how they have like a potato in a ring on a stick? Well, I didn't get a stick, but I got a chopstick. I'm going to attempt to try and fry a potato and curly Q it on this stick, and we're going to serve it with our meat and our asparagus as we go. This porterhouse is a pound and 3/4, so just shy of 2 pounds, but the butter is what we're really going after. We're going to brown our butter and then ladle it over our steak. So we've got a couple of things to do first. We have to season our steak. The next view you have is going to be very awkward because we're going to have our Dutch oven with our oil going, but then I'm going to show you the porterhouse. You ready? Cheers, let's go. Oh, also, gin martini. Cucumber gin martini. This thing is delicious. I might just keep one of these handy to do pointy things all episode long. So if this gets old, not much we can do about it. We're recording. Let's go. All right, so on our steel pan that you see on this side, we're gonna place down our porterhouse. Are you ready? Boom. We're gonna do a couple of things. One, I don't want to say lightly and I don't want to say heavily. Mediumly salt and pepper. Because it's a big piece of steak. Some salt. And then make sure everything is in there. I bring out the secret ingredient to the party, and it is, well, I'll go ahead and say it. I got this from Petty's. It's going to be backwards. It doesn't matter. Petty's Meat Kansas City Steak Seasoning. One thing about me is I'm from Kansas City. We season our steak. So I want to make sure all of this gets into our meat. And then we do the same thing on the other side. And now we're gonna let this rest at room temperature for 15 minutes. We're not gonna do anything to it, just let it rest. Our oil for our potatoes eventually are gonna go in here. I got asparagus with butter going back there. This is our pan that is gonna house our porterhouse, but first we gotta brown our butter. So here's what we need. While it's heating right now over medium heat, I'm gonna take 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Throw it in there. And while that happens, we wanna keep it moving. As I aggressively grabbed a wooden spoon. Let it melt a little bit more. Let's get the other thing that we need ready. Where did it go? Found it. Move this a little bit away. I'm gonna use a tablespoon of canola oil. This should help it not burn. So now let it keep doing its thing. The butter will take a little bit, and eventually what will happen is you'll see some of this will go away. At least that's what we're hoping for. We want it to foam a little bit, and then it will start turning brown, and that's when we're gonna throw our steak on. While that happens, I've got a russet potato. I'm gonna peel this, watch this, and hopefully nothing bad happens. Just peeling potatoes off camera, because that's boring for people to watch and see. So I peeled a potato. You gotta put it right in water so it doesn't brown. Even though we want brown butter. Definitely is starting to foam, which is good. I actually am going to add more butter. Kind of goes against what we were doing, but I'm not happy with the butter ratio. If you've been to like a Ruth Chris, you know it's drenched in butter. So hopefully I didn't screw anything up already. And once we get past the foamy part, we'll be good. And I did bump the heat up. We are at a medium high. We're at a 7 if you've got numbers on your stove. Because you basically want to cook the steak about 5 to 7 minutes on each side. So we're gonna get this nice sear, and then the butter is we're gonna spoon over it. I'm gonna switch to a spoon. Sip timeout. I did peel a potato. It looks like this. And I'm cooking on cast iron as well, so this should really give it a good sear. At least in my dreams. I do see maybe it is starting to brown a little bit. While that does its thing for a couple of seconds, let's look. Our asparagus are going. I might rush and pepper them up. Lid goes back on. It's also starting to smoke a little bit. Hopefully it's not too bad. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off the heat. Let's crank that down for a second, because now we gotta add what's really gonna bring this to an amazing flavor, and that is 1, rosemary. And in with our rosemary, garlic. Let's do some more pepper. Oh my God, that smells delicious. And now we're just gonna mix this up until the garlic starts to brown. And I smashed the garlic. I didn't mince it or chop it. I just took it out from it and then smashed it. Oh my God. Everything smells so good right now. Except I don't want to burn my hand. And you're just basically getting the flavors in the butter and the oil. All right, let's do a quick check here. I wasn't necessarily happy with the lack of browning on the garlic, so I actually went ahead and reheated some of it back up. Again, this is the first time I've ever made this, but you can see it's starting to get a little bit better. I'm a fan of how some of these are really starting to brown up, and I just wanted to show you really quick. As I leave it alone now, it smells ultimately delicious, and this bath of butter and garlic and rosemary and a little bit of oil is going to go on our steak here in just a few minutes, or really for you, a few seconds. All right, I removed the garlic off of the heat. We're now going to try and have some fun with this potato and a chopstick and just see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into here. I'm going to attempt to stab this into this. And I think it worked. It did. I'm gonna try and create some cuts to see if I can get it. Again, we're gonna try. Almost like a vague curly Q. Oh no, I've already messed it up. I mean, look, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't know how they do it at Universal, but it's definitely not by hand, and it is not the way I'm doing things. Because mine's going to be messy. But I do have a very fun flavor way of saving this into deliciousness. Alright, so we attempted, and now we're going to gently drop and just try and fry this bad boy up. And see if maybe it works. Okay, progress on our potato. Ow! I'm just making a giant French fry, is I think what I'm effectively making here. Well, we'll see how it goes. So I've also now cleaned out my pan, as you can see in the back here. There's still some butter bits, which I'm fine with. There's a piece of rosemary that's got to go. And I have strained out the rosemary and the garlic, and this is where our porterhouse is going to go, after I also make myself a new drink. 3 giant pieces of cucumber, muddle. We very quickly muddled it. Gin. Lime juice. Agave syrup. And a quick handful of ice. I'm gonna take the muddler out. I'm gonna let that sit for just a second while we take a look at our potato. It is currently doing what potatoes do. Cook. As James Bond said, shaken, not stirred. When it comes to gin martinis, we pour it into our glass. And I don't have a martini glass, so for that I apologize. This is what I get. Let's move on quickly. We're gonna get our steak in. We've got our brown butter separated from our rosemary and garlic. And here's to hoping it fits in the pan. Almost. There we go. Just gonna start spooning the butter back in. And I'll show you why in a second. I at least want a few minutes to get a good sear on at least one side of the steak. And the rest of it can go there. I am gonna go ahead and take this out. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and flip, or at least look, let's check. I mean, that is some sexy meat looking action though, right? All right, let's go ahead and flip. Yeah. And now let the fun begin. So from here, I'm now gonna let that other side sear. We're also still basting the top of the porterhouse with our rosemary garlic butter. So what it's doing, or at least from what I've seen people do, when you're throwing the butter on there, not only is it adding its flavor, it's also helping cook it because the butter is hot. Keep in mind, we're in a cast iron pan too, so it's retaining a little bit of that heat, a lot of that heat. I'm gonna bring back my potatoes. They failed miserably. And so we're just gonna make basically steak frites that have holes in them. Again, sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. This one did not work out. Baste, baste, baste. It's time to get our steak off, and it's gonna rest for a few minutes if I can grab it and not kill myself. Okay, so now I'm gonna attempt to do what I've seen in steak cooking shows. We're gonna chop our porterhouse off the bone, keep the bone, but try and slice this bad boy up. Okay, so that's off. You see it's definitely rare there, so that's concerning. Oh, I like what's happening there though. So I'm a medium rare kind of guy. Some of you might be grossed out with how red this is, but I'm okay with it. I mean, it's cutting through it like butter. So now I want to place it back on its buddy. And there. Yeah, this one is definitely not done. That is definitely rare. So back in the pan you go. Pause for steak identification. All right, you're currently staring at a clean plate. Why? Well, it's because I screwed it up. I messed it up. And I'm going to revisit this one day, and I'm going to conquer brown buttered steak and the universal twisty potatoes. I have done better, but I believe they are all done. We're gonna disguise our very rare bone that is burning my hand by the meat. I found that if you use the tools that society has built you, things will get better. All right, so we went from what you saw of very rare to medium. See, there's some pink. That's what we want. So that was my bad. We're gonna place our sprigs of rosemary on top. Here we go. Some of our cooked garlic as well. Here on the side, our asparagus. A surprise here of our failed potatoes. Basically just pinwheels. Drenched in Hidden Valley Ranch powder. I want to get into this one. I like it more on the rare side. Let's get a little piece of garlic in there. Oh yeah. When I tell you it's buttery, look, I didn't mess around. I just kind of misjudged the cooking time on it. This is unfairly delicious. So, look, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Oh man. Look, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm eating this asparagus like an ugly human. I deserve this asparagus. In all seriousness, thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with my absurdness. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching.